Hey guys, Mr. Nyland here, and this is going to be another one of those fun get to know Mr. Nyland videos where I'm just going to tell you about some stuff that I like, okay? Two of the greatest things that I like the most are reading and cooking. I love to cook. I actually cook a lot, and I cook a lot of food from other countries because I really think it's interesting. You know how like sometimes you like to go to the Chinese restaurant. Well, I like to cook my own food from Chinese type food, and I also like Japanese food and food from Thailand and food from a lot of places. India, yum, some of the best there is. I mean, if you look over here, guys, this is just my section on Indian cookbooks. Okay, if you go back there, I've got an entire bookshelf on other things like food from Thailand and so on. So guys, I really, really like this kind of food, and I cook it as much as I can. So I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite books. First, speaking of India, this one is called Curry Cuisine. There's a bunch of different authors for this one, and fragrant dishes from India, Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Okay, and there's a lot of different authors. And as you can see from the markers, I've got a couple favorite recipes in there. And curry, guys, just so you know, curry is a mixture of different spices that's very popular, not just in India, but in a lot of countries, as you can tell. And the interesting thing, guys, is curry is actually a different mixture in almost every single household. Many families have their own curry, and there's kind of a regular standard curry that you buy at the store, but most families in these countries will mix their own spices and grind their own spices for their own special curry. So you could have one of these dishes in one person's house and have it in another person's house, and we'd be different because the curry would be different, and curry is a delicious flavor. Curry and coconut milk mixed together with some other things. Yum, 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 yum. This is a book that my daughter showed me. It's from a guy named Tim Anderson. It's called Japanesey. And what that basically means, guys, is Japanese food in a way that's easy to cook. And that's good for people like us because sometimes we're, you know what the word intimidated means? It means, ooh, man, I can't do that. That's too much. Well, what this guy does is he studied Japanese food for a long time. And that's probably for ramen, guys. Ramen noodles, very popular, one of the really big dish in Japan. And this guy studied this, and he decided to make dishes that would be easier for people who weren't used to cooking that way to cook. And I have a couple of other Japanese food cookbooks, but this is a really good one because the food turns out great, and it's fun to read. It's very colorful, as you can see, and a lot of the ingredients, you just going to have to go to different stores and stuff. You can go just to your grocery store. Okay, guys, there's something called street food in Asian countries. It's some of the best food in the world. I'd love to go around to different countries and try the street food. And this is a cookbook called Pok Pok. And that's kind of funny sounding name, but this is basically Thai street food from Thailand. Andy Ricker, okay? And this is kind of the big book of Thailand street food. And there's a lot of good recipes in here. I haven't marked it, but there's a bunch I've tried in here. Really good. Again, this is street food that they make like in carts that they wheel around in Thailand. Very, very good food. And guys, all this food is different. That's the thing you got to understand. If you go to that part of the world, it's not all the same. It's all very different with different kind of ways of doing it. Now, this is sort of the big book, The Essentials of Asian Cuisine. If you were going to get just one book about Asian cuisine of all different types, Corinne Trang, this is considered a really, really important book. Lots of things from a lot of different countries in here. And this, again, I sit down and read these books and don't even cook out of them sometimes. I like them so much, and I'm so interested, and I'll just go, oh, yeah, that sounds good. Oh, yeah. Books and cooking, two best things. And again, I really like Asian food. Now, guys, I'm going to show you the best cookbook I've ever owned. I have cooked so many recipes out of this. I have bought 3 copies of this cookbook because I actually wear this cookbook out. And if I was going to suggest to you or your parents to get one cookbook about cooking Chinese or Asian food, I would suggest this book right here, Martin Yan's Feast. Martin Yan used to have a cooking show on public television, and he's a very famous chef. He's considered one of the best chefs in the world, but he wrote this book, which is sort of a greatest hits for him. He has a bunch of cookbooks, but he's gotten all of his best recipes together. I cook and cook and cook and cook out of this cookbook. I mean, I've worn the pages out of this cookbook, and this is like my 4th copy, actually. This is the one I'm going to put in there after I wear out the one I have. This is, to me, the best cookbook I ever had. And again, it's another one. He's such an entertaining writer. I'll just sit and read it and go, oh, yeah. So cooking and reading, guys, 2 of my big things. So that's another little tour of stuff from Mr. Nyland's porch that he likes. Just another fun with Mr. Nyland one, and we'll get back to the more serious lessons and read-alongs later. But I just thought you'd like a little insight into what's in this vast dungeon of coolness. Because I got a lot of stuff in here, and plus what's in my house, and I could go on and on. But that's just another Get to Know Mr. Nyland video. Hope you enjoyed it. Back to the read-alouds and the lessons in a bit, but see you later.